Hey guys, this is Valentina Palladino for Ars Technica, and today I'm here with Mio Fitness's newest device. It's called the Mio Slice, and this is kind of the most modern device that Mio has come out with. We know Mio for its heart rate monitors that are on the wrist, the Mio Fuse, which we reviewed a little while ago, and all of them are kind of just utilitarian devices. They don't really look that great, but they have really great heart rate monitors inside of them that are pretty much always very accurate. So the Slice takes that technology and tries to put it into a little bit more of a modern form. Just a regular, slimmer band that you could wear all day without feeling self-conscious about it. So the Slice is $130. That kind of takes the price point of the Fuse, which has been knocked down to $100 now. And I'm going to tell you some of the good things and the bad things about Mio's Slice. So the first good thing about the Mio Slice is its heart rate monitor. As I mentioned before, Mio is very good with heart rate monitors, particularly heart rate monitors that are on your wrist. I use this also while using an Apple Watch Series 2, and I found that Mio's heart rate monitor was always within about 5 beats per minute of the Apple Watch Series 2. I also used it with Polar's H7 heart rate monitoring chest strap and sensor, and I always found that Mio's device was within about 2 BPM of that chest strap. So it's very accurate as long as you wear it the way that Mio describes, which is about 2 fingers from your wrist bone like this, and fairly tight, not too tight where you're kind of disrupting blood flow, but just tight enough. You will get pretty accurate reading every single time. So you can wear this to sleep and it will track your sleep, and you'll get your resting heart rate recorded, as well as things like high heart rates when you're in the middle of a workout. Another good thing about the Mio Slice is that Mio tried to modernize it a little bit by adding smartphone notifications to it. So this can receive your call, text, and calendar alerts. So you won't see full messages, but you will see either the number or the name of the contact that's trying to get a hold of you. With calendar alerts, you'll see, the event name and things like that. And I did find that every once in a while, it did push other types of notifications to my wrist, including things from apps like Pinterest and even sometimes WhatsApp notifications. So I'm not entirely sure where the line is drawn with that, but you will certainly get all your default text, calls, and calendar notifications to your wrist with this device. And the last good thing about the Mio Slice is its heart rate monitoring analysis data. So one really unique thing about Mio is that it uses something called a Pi score to kind of show you your progress. And all of this is based on heart rate. So Pi stands for Personal Activity Intelligence, and you get a Personal Activity Intelligence score. So that Pi score is all based on your heart rate, and you will get more Pi points depending on the minutes that you raise your heart rate throughout the week. So Mio gives you this kind of 7-day span. So it wants you to get 100 Pi points in 7 days. And if you do that, that basically means that you are raising and increasing your heart rate enough so that you will be more active and more healthy. The ways that you can do this are just working out, power walking, things like that. Anything that raises your heart rate to more than what your normal kind of level is good for getting more Pi points. You will get Pi points even if it's like lower or medium heart rate, but the most Pi points you're going to get are when you really have an elevated heart rate. I have warmed up to this since I've reviewed other Mio products because I typically don't like proprietary scores that aren't really just your heart rate averages, the heart rate zones that you frequently hit, but with Pi, it's definitely a more understandable and more feasible way for people to understand how they should be raising their heart rate and how much they should be raising their heart rate. So if you don't hit 100 points throughout the week, you might want to try to get in an extra workout right before that 7 days is up, just to see if you can get to that 100 points and, elevate your success with that. So it kind of makes heart rate training a little bit more accessible. So if you don't understand heart rate zones, or if you just don't know how to read those types of graphs, you can just look at your Pi score and you will know when you've had more minutes of elevated heart rate versus not. It's all broken down into days in the Pi app that Mio has, which has been, updated since we reviewed the Fuse. Minimally, but enough where it's a little bit more modern looking. It kind of lays things out in a little bit more understandable way. So you do get those full heart rate graphs, but Pi score is definitely valued over that. So if you just want a quick look into how you've been active throughout this week, you can take a look at your Pi score and you will kind of be able to tell from that. So now on to the not so great things about Mio's Slice. The first I would have to say is its design. So I will commend Mio for kind of making things more thin. The company went in a more simplistic route where there's just one button here. It has an OLED display and you use the button to cycle through different screens, including your heart rate, the time, the total number of pi points that you have for the week so far, and so forth. Those can all be customized in the app too. So this is not the thinnest band that you can get. It's a little bit thicker here than most other bands as well. And it's just kind of super basic. And you might like this if you're just looking for a wrist-bound heart rate monitor and that's all you want. But other devices have proven that you can do that while making it a little bit more fashionable. You can't change the bands out. It does come in a couple of different colors, but you can't change the bands like you could in something like Fitbit's Charge 2. And even when you compare it to something like Garmin's Vivo Smart HR, that one you also can't switch out the bands, but it does come in a couple of different colors, but it also has a touchscreen. While the design isn't offensive, certainly, it's just a little bit too simple for what I think Mio needs to really compete with other similar devices. Another not so great thing is that, Mio tried to modernize with the smartphone notifications that you can now get on the Slice, but there are other really basic features that this doesn't have. Two of them that really stick out to me are reminders to move and silent alarms. So a lot of other devices, including Fitbit devices and Garmin devices that are within this price point, you can get reminders to move. So if you've been inactive for half an hour or an hour, the device will buzz. And you can also set alarms or silent alarms that either will wake you up when you're in your lightest mode of sleep in the morning, or you can just use them as reminder alarms. So you can set them for any time during the day and the device will buzz to remind you of anything that you want. So I was kind of disappointed to see that Mio didn't even include those types of things with the Slice, but they're becoming so ubiquitous amongst these types of devices that it does stand out when one doesn't have them. So the last not so great thing about the Mio Slice is its battery life. So Mio estimates that you can get about 5 days of battery life with the Slice, but I didn't really find that to be the case when I was using it for workouts, daily activity tracking, and sleep tracking. So I wore this all day long. The only time that I would take it off was when I was going to shower, and I typically found that it would lose half of its battery life within about a day, day and a half of use. If you want to use this for all day use, you will have to charge this certainly more than once every 5 days. So overall, Mio Slice is just another Mio product in the sense that it has a great heart rate monitor. It has the convenience of being something that you can put on your wrist and kind of forget about, but Mio didn't really fully succeed in modernizing with this newest product. And I think the parts that are really going to deter people from buying this would be its design. It's not in the same level as something like Fitbit's Charge 2 or even its Ulta device. And also its battery life is it's a shame because I wanted it to be at least 5 days. And you might be able to get 5 days if you didn't wear it to sleep every night. But that kind of defeats the purpose of having an all-day, all-purpose activity tracker, especially when sleep is becoming a lot more important to a lot of users when they buy an activity tracker. I would say that if you really want a wrist-bound heart rate monitor, this is a decent device, but there are other ones out there that will offer you more basic features and a better design at around the same price.